question for all of you guys. Who's playing with controllers on PC, PlayStation 4? It doesn't matter. What is the most number one annoying thing in the world when playing with a controller? Tell me. Stick drift. But with certain games, it's annoying, but you can get away with it. You know, if you got it during a match in Call of Duty, you run, you gun. You know, there was no harm if you're playing casual Call of Duty, right? And in some other games, third-person action adventures, it's annoying, but it ruins the fun a bit. But when you're playing Rainbow Six Siege and you're holding an angle, a pixel peak angle, and you get stick drift. Those who play that game know how annoying that can be, because it totally freaks out your game. It fucks up your game. So it can happen to old controllers, but it can also happen to new controllers. This one is 6 months old. 6 months, maybe, max. And it has had stick drift on this one. So in this tutorial, for all your friends and family of this channel, and all new people who have not subscribed yet, shame on you, I'm going to show you how you take the controller apart, step by step, and my lovely wife helped me with it, because trust me, you don't want to see up close and personal these hands. My wife has beautiful hands. So she volunteered to do it, and she likes taking it apart, and she's putting it back together for you with an explanation for me. How to take it apart, how to fix it, to find the stick drift, and to put it back together again. Here we go, guys. Follow me. So the first thing you want to do is start with the 4 screws at the bottom. Just gently remove them with a Phillips screwdriver. It's just a 001. Then start with the pieces where you hold the controller in your hand. Just press a bit and it will pop open, and then gently work your way around the controller with a flat screwdriver in order to just gently release it along the sides, and it will constantly pop open a bit further and a bit further. You will also have the time to maybe clean some shit out on the side of the controller. Usually that gets a bit dirty, so just move your way around the controller and do the same thing on the other side. Just pop it open, put a screwdriver in between, and you're good to go. Now, once you've done that, just gently open the controller where you can. It sometimes is a bit tricky left and right because it's really firm, but as soon as you have it, you can just calmly open it. And I advise you to do it calmly, because there are all kind of wires connecting the fore and the back front. As you can see, the white cable is connected. Just set aside the battery and just gently remove this white string. And when I say gently, just do not try to crush this piece of wiring, because if it's broken, then you can more or less throw away your controller. So once you've done it, set aside the bottom half, put aside the controller or the battery, and just gently, just left and right tap it a bit, and then take out the battery as well. So what you now wind up with is just the motherboard with the plastic shell that separates the battery from the controller itself and from the motherboard. Just unscrew it. Some versions there are 3 screws, there are 1 screw. I've seen all kinds of versions, but it's all the same. Just remove it. That's the only thing, and the only thing you should do, guys. Once you've done that, make sure that you remove this blue wiring. It took some time for us, but just use clipper or anything to just remove it, but make sure you don't damage it. It's a really vital part. In some versions, the option button and the share button can fall off. Just set it aside. Don't panic. You can put that back together later on when you're organizing the controller once more. Now, take off the thumbsticks. Just pull it a bit and it will come off very easily. Once you're there, just clean out everything you find, anything you can find. Sometimes there's a lot of dust, a lot of debris in there. Just clean it out, everything you see. Mine was not that bad because it was a pretty new controller, and now comes the tricky part, guys. This is what a stick drift is. In some controllers, some versions, this piece of plastic is black, and mine's it's orange. Just gently push it forward. Don't try to take it off, because that's not necessary. It won't come off. You just push it forward. And on the inside you will see this piece of plastic with some metal strings attached to it. This is the piece that registers the movement you're making. Just make sure that you pay attention how it's assembled and how it's been put in there. Take it out, put it aside, and then start cleaning it with a bit of alcohol. Just use a bit of alcohol, clean it out, everything you see, make sure it's good, and leave it there to dry for just a couple minutes. It doesn't necessarily have to stay long, but just make sure that the alcohol is vaporized. And now, if you remembered how to, when you took it out, you remembered how it was put there, just make sure that you now put it in the same direction, in the same way, back inside. Once you've done that, adjust it a bit, make sure it's firmly attached to the side, and then just close it. Just press it a bit. Sometimes it needs a bit force, and then you will hear a clicking or a tabbing sound. Once it's good, it will just click right in place, and then repeat the process on the other side. Take it out, clean it with alcohol, put it back same way you found it, and then put it back and close the hatch with the clicking sound. Once you've done that, just give it one more brush with some compressed air. Just make sure that everything's gone, everything's dry, everything's cool. And let's put the sucker back together again. So take the two thumbsticks, press it back on. It's not that hard, it's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Just press it a bit, it will click right on. Here we go. This is the blue wire we took out. Make sure you put it in the right way, in the correct way, and in the order you find it. Put it back into this section, this hole. If you've done it, just press it a bit so that the controller is firmly against the motherboard or the circuit board, and then just put it back in. Make sure that you're not damaging it. Just gently squeeze, gently press it a bit so it's in there correctly and firmly, and then you're good to go. Make sure that you put the battery casing or the protection layer back onto the board the same way you found it. And as said, in some versions it can differ from one version to another. Sometimes you need 3 screws, sometimes the screws are on the side. Mine is in the middle. Just screw it back on and you're good to go. Here we go. Put the battery back in the same order you found it. Just gently click on it. So that's the clicking sound you need to hear when you put that back in. You see, we've done it the wrong way first, so it wouldn't go in. Now it goes in, it makes a clicking sound, and you can put the battery back in the same way you found it. Now, this is a tricky part. Make sure that these metal connector parts are facing the battery. I can't stress this as much as enough. Put the metal connector parts facing the battery. Just gently squeeze it in. When you're done, it's just a matter of clicking the whole shebang together, and you will hear those clicking sounds, and put those screws back together again. Now the big question now is, peeps, did this operation pay off? Or didn't it? Well, the proof is in the pudding. Let's see.
Enemy is about to leave the area. Someone exposed you.
Just fucking don't. Oof. I
got the fuser. I got the fuser with me.
C'est pas safe.
Am I acing it?
Enemy drone dropping for scan. You're exposed. Op 4, last operator
Oh, I
standing.
can ace it.